difficult or something.
Well, yeah, that's it. You never know. Into the NRL then, round 21 of regular season play down in Australia. Starts earlier this weekend. Roosters 32, Broncos 16. Broncos just falling to bits, Mark.
Well, yeah, when you lose to a side this bad as well.
Exactly, and it's not like the Roosters are on tremendous form, is it? So, begs the question, what's our England coach playing at?
Well, maybe, let's hope, he's focusing all his attention on England.
No, he's made a point of saying he's not. In all his press conferences, he's made an absolute point of saying he's not. Anyway,
let's see.
Broncos implosion 2016. It was the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs 13, St George Illawarra Dragons 10, Mark.
Plenty of English representation in this one. Actually, I watched this game on Sunday afternoon, sort of on a fast forward before I came and picked you up to take you over to Donny.
Yes.
The Dragons were much better than they've been for a while, and Widdop was an important part of that. He did have a try assist.
Mm-hmm.
He did look a bit more creative, certainly than you'd seen recently. Mike Cooper had 178 metres as well. For the winning Bulldogs, though, James Graham 137 metres, 52 tackles, big all-round effort. And the Doggies just closed it out, and the Dragons couldn't quite find enough, but better for them.
Yeah. New Zealand Warriors were 20 points to 16 winners over the Penrith Panthers. Spot a Zach watch for his Mark?
Well, he came off the bench and set up a try, but this was another one that went into overtime for a golden point for the Warriors. It seems to be like they're giving extra value for money to their fans, because I think that's 3 games now in the last probably 5 or 6 at their gaff that have gone to.
The winning try was quite special as well, though, wasn't it?
I've not seen any of the footage, sorry for missing.
Sean Johnson, they're looking to set up the drop goal, and it's not on, so Sean Johnson just decides to play for the first time all season, really, and jinked through about 4 players.
Oh, no, he did that to win another game in either right at the end or in overtime as well.
He likes winning them for him. Okay, Parramatta Eels were defeated 8 points to 23 at home by West's Tigers. It was North Queensland Cowboys 6, Melbourne Storm 16, an impressive away result for the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, with an asterisk that the Cowboys were missing Thurston, and to be honest, it really did take something out of their attack.
Yeah, when did you expect it would?
It was a tough game, but the Storm were the better side just because they had a bit more cohesion.
Yeah. I saw a video online of a young Cowboys, I believe he's a half-back, and he's got a funny name and it escapes me at the minute. I'll have to come back to you on that one, but this kid looked pretty good. So maybe he's the next Jonathan Thurston. We love doing that, don't we? We love doing that in rugby league. Big defeat at home for the South Sydney Rabbitohs, 4 points to 54 against the Canberra Raiders, Mark. Yeah,
and it was really the coming out party for Elliot Whitehead, this one. Yeah. He ripped it up, and all the sort of positive words that have been coming out of the Raiders camp about him and that sort of stuff have probably... This has helped escalate that to the media eye. Yeah. I enjoyed the retro... garb that the TV presenters were rocked up in, something out of Anchorman going on there. But Sam Burgess played 126 metres for him. George Burgess also played, not so much out of him, but for the victorious Raiders, our boys did good. Hodgson 104 metres and 1 try assist. Whitehead 2 tries, 156 metres, and that second try of his, I mean, there was a couple of questions, borderline passes involved. Yeah,
but it was flat. They're definitely flat.
It was thrilling stuff to watch, though, all the same, you've got to say.
Absolutely, and it's good to see those English lads doing well in the NRL. Manly Sea Eagles were 36 points to 16 winners over the Newcastle Knights, and just this morning, the Gold Coast Titans and my Sharkies played out an 18-all draw up at Seabus.
Yeah, ended the
consecutive wins run.
He's still unbeaten in 16 games.
Undefeated in 16 games is still pretty decent, I would say.
Well, the Sharks stay top now, just a point ahead of the Storm in the minor premiership race. The Raiders are up to 3rd. Warriors replaced Panthers in the top 8, and then from Broncos in 6 on 24 points to the Dragons in 12 on 20 points. The top 8 race is still wide open.
Fantastic. Right, let's have a feel of Aaron's Eels, mate.
Okay, well... The Eels Open Age team, they headed over to Hertfordshire at the weekend to play a East Premiership game against Hemel Hempstead. Unfortunately, the Eels couldn't back up their win last week, going down 44-28. Next week, the Eels are on the road again with an away fixture against the Bedford Tigers. The London Broncos under-16 scholarship team, they played their final game of the season last week, and that was against the Bradford Bulls. 4 Brentwood Eel players were selected for that fixture. Wow. Ryan Horseman, Kaylee Gray, Max Clark and Luca Valentini. Obviously, Bradford might have been having a look on scouting them because they've taken in Joe Keys, haven't they?
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
Broncos and Brentwood Eels scholarship player. A high quality and competitive game saw the Bulls edge out the Broncos to secure a 28-14 win. A great experience for everyone involved. We saw Max Clark of the Eels make a 60-metre break to score a try to remember.
Fantastic news, and thank you, Aaron, for keeping us up to speed on everything that's going on down in Brentwood.
Oh yeah, we've got to give a lot of credit to Aaron. Has been
week on week straight in there, gets his emails and keeps us up to speed, and we utterly appreciate it, don't we?
Yeah,
it's brilliant to be able to look at that aspect of rugby, especially in his neck of the woods, and especially at grassroots level.
We need to get some. We need to get some Eels merchandise purchased if there's something on the go.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to have a quick look on the internet and see what they've got. We'd love to. Yeah, I'd like an Eels shirt, definitely. Right, that's last week in Rugby League well and truly covered. Let's look ahead into the future now as we bring you our previews for the first round of the Super 8s. Right, so it's the first week of the Super 8s format then into the top flight, the top 8 teams in Super League. Weekend's action starts off with Warrington taking on St Helens. A fancy wire on this one. I know that Saints have had a week off and they'll be getting some guys back, but Warrington's result over Wakefield just gives them that rolling form, and I think sometimes that ability to just get into a rhythm and be playing games perhaps suits the teams that are up the top and winning. So I'm going to go for a 30 points to 20 win in favour of the Wolves. What say ye?
Well, Wire put some of the players on half a shift, like we already mentioned.
Yeah.
And they are in... that's got to breed confidence off the back of confidence. The only question mark, I suppose, is this relatively short turnaround when Saints have had a bit of a rest. But you look across the 17 that's for each team that's going to be on the field, and you just think Warrington have a little bit better in almost every position. And that's why you kind of have to go that way.
I tend to agree.
28 points to 22 I've gone in favour of Warrington. Of course, in the regular season, St Helens had that dramatic last-second victory, or last-minute victory at the wire. So, there's form for this going the other way.
There is. Okay, Hull FC take on Castleford then over at the KCOM this weekend. I can't look beyond Hull FC. They are rightly where they need to be, top of the pile in the Challenge Cup final. They might not play a brand of rugby league that's massively entertaining, but they do have it in them with their Islanders to make it exciting as well. But they get the job done and they go out and they do it, and everybody knows their role in that team, and if everybody executes, they win. So more often than not this season they've executed, and more often than not they've won. So that's my theory behind it. Again, give Castleford some credit. They've had a week off to get some people back and get some guys ready to go, but I just think Hull are going to be too strong, particularly in the forwards. I mean, I like what Castleford have in the backs and in the three quarters, but I think if this forward pack for Hull FC gets going, then it's going to be pretty tough to stop them. 28-16 in favour of FC.
Okay, this one also went the way against what you'd be anticipating in the regular season.
It did,
and that opens a crack for me to say.
Is that enough of a slender door
to say Castleford will win? Probably quite narrow. I'm going to tip it to be a lowish scoring game. I'm going to go Castleford 20 points to 18. I think it really, we do this always before the teams are announced. We don't really know what's going to be put out on the field.
Yeah, true.
We don't know if Hull are going to rest anyone off the back of the semi-final, and knowing that they've got a final ahead, so that they've got to manage people like Ellis, Minicello, Pritchard. Jamie Shaw's not exactly been peak fitness recently. He's missed a few games as well. So you don't know if there's going to be things like that happen. But if Castleford have the likes of Dawn and Solomona back, they become a much
more potent,
more difficult opposition to come up against. And I think their forward pack has started to get it together a bit more now. They've adjusted to some of the losses they've had there and changes in personnel they've had there, and I think they've got it together now. Right. So I think they can compete with Hull FC, and I'm just gonna go on a bit of a whim on this one, I think, and give them the edge.
Right. Very good. Okay.
I feel it in my bones.
You feel it in your bones, do you? Fair enough. Okay, your mob take on the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats down at the D-Dubs. You guys aren't brilliant, but Wakefield have had a kicking, and I think that you will. I base my prediction more on the fact that Wakefield will be patched up and maybe don't have as many people back as they would like to have, and I think you'll have enough in the tank and enough in reserve to get over the line. But I don't anticipate it being a particularly thrilling encounter because of the injuries and because of some of the style of attacking play that you've seen at Wigan. But I'm going with Wigan just based on higher quality players, 20 points to 8. What do you think?
I'm going with Wigan too. Similar sort of things to what you say. I think our squad's got better depth than theirs. I think.
Certainly.
I don't want to say Wakefield's season's over now, but it's time for them to start thinking about what players will be there next year and what players won't be, and what young players might want to have a bit more time on the field, and what senior players that are leaving the club maybe don't necessarily need time on the field.
Well, look,
I think it's time for them to have a think about those sorts of things, and that whilst that might strengthen Wakefield as a club, as a prospect, I think it might weaken them in the shorter term. Whereas Wigan, we've already heard that their recruitment is done and dusted for next year. The ins and outs are almost finalised, it seems. So we need to find a way of getting something out of this group of players and learning to attack rugby again. And some of them need got points to prove to the supporters, if not to the coaching staff or the management hierarchy in the club. The supporters certainly see a lot of these guys thinking they've got a point to prove at the moment, with the ball especially. So I'm hoping they'll do that. I'm going 26-14.
I think it's poignant what you say about Wakefield as well. I think it's nice for Wakefield fans to look at it from the point of view of enjoy an extended pre-season or an extended period of time where you can play with the squad and have a look at some of these youngsters and blood some kids, because you think back 12 months when it was touch and go whether or not they'd be in Super League. This is, Wakefield fans would have bitten your hand off 12 months ago, so it does represent a big step forward for the club.
Gives them that opportunity to stabilise for further progression. I think that Hull FC and Catalan in particular took advantage of last year.
Yeah, I agree. Catalan take on the Widnes Dragons, the Widnes Vikings down in the south of France. No amount of longboats going to do you any good when the Dragons are in town or when you go to Dragon Town. So I'm going with the Catalan victory mark, 36 points to 12.
Because the breath can settle that wood on fire, but then the wood's been in the water, so it's kind of...
Oh yeah, but the intensity of the heat from the dragon fire will burn these longboats good and proper.
Okay.
That's what I reckon. So no basis on any kind of reference to players, just shit mythology. Catalan at home should, on paper, have enough to dispatch Widnes, which is why I'm picking Catalan.
Well, yeah, they should have had enough to dispatch Widnes 2 weeks ago, and they didn't.
And they failed to.
They didn't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to tip the home side, but I'm going to tip a high-scoring game that Catalan just get on the right end of. 36 points to 28, I'm going in favour of the Dragons. And I think they need to show this. They need to start this turnaround. It's an opportunity for them to leapfrog back above St Helens, with St Helens playing the Warrington side. So maybe that might spur them on if Saints do lose that game.
I agree.
Maybe it'll give them that spark that they need. They need something, and they need to start this Super 8 phase well at home, because they've cost themselves a home game by the inept performance in recent times. Yeah,
they've got to start well, haven't they?
So it's just more of a feeling of that's kind of what needs to happen more for them, whereas Widnes are in a similar position to Wakefield, where their season is effectively over. I would want to see them to start playing some of their younger players too. People like, what's the name, that Johnston guy? I think he maybe could get some minutes. I don't. It might be on the academy tour actually, but people like that I want to see get some minutes. Really. The Chapel House and who have you? That's
it. Well, yeah, I agree. I like the Chapel House, but they are doing well up in Cumbria as well on their dual reg agreement, and it would be a shame to see them pull out of that. I would say, but good luck to all the sides. And of course, if you're out and about this weekend and want to keep in touch with everything that's going on, our friends at SL Clubs, big supporters of the podcast, will keep you up to speed on everything that's going on. Give them a follow on Twitter at SL Clubs. Into the qualifying eights then, Mark. The battle for Super League 2017 begins over at the Big Fella Stadium as Featherstone take on Leeds Rhinos in the in one of the big. Permit me one of them, because Featherstone are there